Mammies, Sapphires, Jezebels, Aunt Jemimas, Sambo, Jim Crow, Savage. These are all controlling images that are designed to make racism, sexism, poverty, and other forms of social injustice appear to be natural, normal, and inevitable parts of everyday life. These are the stereotypes of both black males and females. The mammy was a large, independent black woman with pitch black skin and shining white teeth and lived to serve her master and mistress. The mammy understood the value of the white lifestyle, and the stereotype suggests that she raised the masses' children. Her tendency to give advice to the mistress was seen as harmless and humorous. Although she treated whites with respect, the mammy was a tyrant in her own family. She dominated her children and husband, the Sambo, with her temper. The image of the mammy as a controlling African American male was used as further evidence of his inferiority to whites. Because the mammy was masculine in her looks and temperament, she was not seen as a sexual being or a threat to white women. The stereotype of the Aunt Jemima evolved out of the mammy image. She differs from the mammy in that her duties were restricted to cooking. It was through Aunt Jemima that the association of the African American woman with domestic work, especially cooking, became fixed in the minds of society. As a result, hundreds of Aunt Jemima collectibles found their way into the American kitchens. Although her image has changed slightly, the stereotype still lives on. The Sapphire possesses the emotional makeup of the mammy and Aunt Jemima combined. Her fierce independence and cantankerous nature place her in the role of the head of the house. She dominated her foolish husband by emasculating him with the verbal put-downs, and the stereotype was immensely humorous to white Americans. The final female stereotype is the Jezebel, the harlot. This image of the bad black girl represented the undeniable sexual side of African American women. The traditional Jezebel was a light-skinned, slender mulatto girl with long straight hair and small features. She more closely resembled the European ideal for beauty than any pre-existing images of African American women. Whereas the mammy, Aunt Jemima, and Sapphire were decidedly asexual images, this stereotype was immensely attractive to white males. The creation of the hypersexual seductress Jezebel served to absolve white males of responsibility in sexual abuse and rape of African American women. Black women in such cases were said to be asking for it.
In today's society, the black female perception has been changed dramatically. I did a survey on Fresno State campus with over 15 students and asked them how they saw the black female. And every single one of those students said the same thing, that black females are loud, aggressive, angry, gold diggers, ratchets, and bops. Media has a big part in this because they portray the black women as how they did in the past as the Jezebel and the Sapphire. Shows such as Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Bad Girls Club show how much these Jezebel and Sapphire-like characters come into play. The women on these shows are very aggressive and ruthless and loud, and they only care about themselves and ready to fight. For some reason, there's an unwritten competition between the black females. One competition is the black females with the hair. Some females don't get their hair done 24/7, or they don't have to get a weave. A lot of them is just all natural, and they go on about their business. Another one is a light skin versus dark skin. A lot of light skinned African American females get more attention from males than the dark skins do. All this plays a part in society. And what they don't show is how the black females that are actually being successful and have a positive influence in society. The media doesn't show the women that are behind desks, being leaders, having organizations. Even our First Lady, Michelle Obama, has been portrayed as a negative person because she is black and she has a high authority of power. In conclusion, the stereotype of black females has a very negative effect on society. And it will be this way until women start to realize that something needs to happen and needs to be changed.
In history, black people have been subjected to enslavement, abuse, mutilation, rape, and murder. These acts of violence were directed towards black men, women, and children alike. Every day of a slave's life would be filled with long hours of arduous work, very little amounts of poor quality food, terrible living conditions, and being physically abused with whippings, removal of limbs to thwart escape attempts, and random killings as an assertion of power. Black men were often victims of these acts of power assertion because of the hypermasculine, unintelligent, and overall beastly image created of them by white slave owners. Male slaves were placed into roles such as the Sambo, who was unintelligent, ignorant, was addicted to pleasure in all its forms, but preferred to get their pleasure in a sexual way. These men were not seen as a major threat by white people other than the fact that they were deemed hypersexual. The savage was violent, amazingly strong, and didn't care about right or wrong. These men were seen as the most dangerous kind of slave due to them having a volatile nature and were treated more severely than normal. As a result of these stereotypes, black men were not only feared and looked down upon by their own people and white people, they were hunted by white men as a way to send a message to black men that they were expendable and would be destroyed anytime a white person saw fit. A black man simply doing errands for his master could be subjected to a beating or death for simply catching the eye of a white person, and generally no one cared what would happen to the black man no matter how brutal the punishment they received would be. These stereotypes still affect the upbringing of black males in today's society and the public image of their masculinity.
Negative stereotypes of African Americans have been around since slavery, and it is a way to justify enslavement of Africans. In most cases, African American stereotypes are mostly used in negative perceptions. Society believes if you meet one black male, then you know how all black males are. Robbery, drug use, and gang violence have been associated with black males since the 1960s. Current stereotypes today are being criminals, poor, violent, athletic, sexual, uneducated, and only live in the ghetto. African American men are more likely profiled, arrested, and incarcerated in the U.S. than white suspects who committed similar crimes. African American men are seen as drug lords, but recent studies show that African Americans are less likely to use illegal drugs. Poor and working class black males were portrayed as the ones who talked, walked, and acted black and lacked in American values. Society believes every black male should play sports because of their abilities and aggression towards others. Professional sports see black males as too pampered, too flawless, and too greedy. Mass media is a huge part in using racism towards colored people. The black youth is seen as harmful to the community and even to themselves. Poor household, poor health, unemployment, and social problems are all forms of racial rule and slavery.